Got Angie Quienalty in the studio with me, and she is not your ordinary person. She's actually the Calcasieu Parish Registrar voter.
That's correct.
And you have a very, very busy job, especially this time of year with this big election coming up. We're going to discuss the November 4th election. As you guys know, is coming up. But early voting is most importantly coming up next week. It begins on Tuesday. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, some of the websites that you guys could use to get some cheat sheets made up before you go into the polls, because there is a time limit.
That's
and
correct.
Where do we start?
As well, time limit is 3 minutes, so that's why we are encouraging voters to get that information. Actually, before you leave to go vote, you need to do some homework on that too, because it's a very large ballot. There are a lot of candidates. We have 14 constitutional amendments, so we do encourage you to be an informed voter. Get that information in whatever way you want it, either on your computer, your iPhone, bookmark it, print it in the newspaper closer to the election, but I don't know if it'll be there before early voting starts. But because you have a large ballot and 3 minutes in the booth, we do encourage you to get that information and study it before you go.
The main thing is that the amendments can be complicated, as we all know. When you get into the polls, especially when there's a lot, you know, there's so much wording and stuff, you don't know if you're voting for or against it. The easiest way to do, is, either get with somebody who understands them a little bit better, or you can go to websites like PAR, PAR.com, PAR.org. A lot of times they break down the amendments and make them in layman terms, 1 or 2 sentences, which is really far more easier to understand. GoVote.com is a great website to use.
Yes, it is.
GEAUX.com. They also have a very cool phone app for iPhones.
Free app for iPhone and Androids.
Basically, you could open up the app or the website, however you want to do it. Include your name
and your zip code, or your name and your date of birth. And if you are registered, it will pull you up, tell you what precinct you're in, and then you continue into the next page, and it'll tell you your actual ballot. It'll tell you where you go vote. It'll give you mapping directions to your precinct on election day. It'll give you mapping directions to 3 early voting sites during early voting dates, October 21 through October 28. So one of the best tools I've seen.
It is. It really is. I use it myself, and again, you get to see your actual ballot, because the fact of the matter is, with all the various parishes and stuff like that, everybody has a different ballot.
That's correct.
Quincy has sheriffs or something else.
Quincy has their mayor and city council. Iowa has mayor and city council. Westlake has mayor and city council. We have some justices of the peace and constables at different parts of the parish. Everybody will be voting on the Senate race, the 3rd congressional race, as well as everybody will be voting on the district attorney in Calcasieu Parish. There are 11 school board members running on the ballot, as compared to the 15 of the whole board. DeQuincy has a home rule charter. We have judges on the race. Some people will be voting on judges. Some people will not be voting on judges. All of Ward 3 will be voting on the Lake Charles Judge Divisions A and B, as well as of the Marshal. So it is commonly named City Judge or City Marshal, but it's actually all of Ward 3 that will be voting on those 3 positions.
And you were saying that this is one of the largest ballots that you've seen.
For a congressional race, this is one of the largest ballots that I've seen. It is huge. We have 41 different ballot styles throughout Calcasieu Parish, so that is a very large ballot.
So as to not get confused or overwhelmed, if you go to GoVote.com, enter your information, your name and your zip code, or your name and your date of birth, and it'll pull up your ballot, what you're going to see when you walk into the polls. You could bookmark it if you're using an iPhone or Android. You could also print it out and fill it out. Fill it out before you even go to the polls, because as I mentioned earlier, there is a 3-minute time limit when you're in the polls, and that will also, help you, make educated votes, because you don't want to, vote randomly, because that we could pay the price for that. So
Gina also want to tell me that if you don't have an iPhone, you can go to your computer, go to the Go Vote, or under sos.la.gov, and go to the voter portal. It will give you the same information.
That's right. I've used that as well. And Secretary of State website. Definitely very useful. I use it all the time, and trust me, I will be using it for this election because, again, there's a lot of things on the ballot, and you don't want to make the mistake of making the wrong vote, okay? This is a very, very important election. Please get out and vote. Anybody that you know that is registered to vote, if they don't have a car, they might need a ride, bring them to the polls with you. This is a very, very, very important election. Early voting starts
Tuesday, October 21st through Tuesday, October 28th. It does include the Saturday, excluding the Sunday. The hours for early voting are 8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. It is a weekday election, so I want to encourage students that have registered to vote, specifically in Calcasieu Parish. If you want your ballot mailed to you, now's the time to request that. You need to get the ballot in to you, get it marked, and get it back to us quickly. Please don't wait till the last minute. If it comes in after the election, well, actually the Monday before the election, it's too late.
So what about people that are handicapped as well? So you have students and people that are handicapped.
If you're homebound, you can apply for the homebound program. You have to give a proof of your handicap as to that you're homebound.
And how do they do that?
The letter from your doctor, or just you have handicap placards and so forth.
Okay. Now they could call you and get this information at
337-721-4000.
And again, for students that are away in college, parents, if you're looking at this and you know they're registered to vote, they can't vote where they're at. They have to vote where they're registered to vote, which is, you know, here if they're from Lake Charles. So a student voter that's away at college can request a ballot, and they would call you to make the request.
They have to do it in writing. They can do it online. There is an app online to request the ballot to be mailed to them.
Okay.
They just have to give us, if they have not voted at least once, they have to give us a copy of their student ID.
Okay, and that website is what for them to go to?
sos.la.gov.
Okay, and they could go to that website, parents and or students, to request a
The only way you can do it online or to request an absentee ballot by mail is if they have, a Louisiana driver's license. It tags it with the Louisiana driver's license. It takes the signature electronically. Otherwise, I have to have a handwritten signature. So, and they can fax it. They can download the application and fax it to us at 337-437-3389. But you got to get the request in because of the mail time frames.
Right, exactly. So please make sure you do that. If you didn't quite get that, rewind this video, listen to it again. Again, very, very important that you get out and vote in this election. It's a very, very important election. So early voting begins on Tuesday, October the 21st through October the 28th, except for Sunday. Okay, so Tuesday to Tuesday, the voting times will be
8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m.
and will only be at the Registrar of Voters offices. There are 3 in Calcasieu Parish, which are, of course, the courthouse on the 2nd floor, room 7.
Correct.
In Lake Charles, and then Moss Bluff
Library,
and then Sulphur.
We're at the Registrar's office. It's called the West Calcasieu Business Center, right next door to the police station.
And the voting times, once again,
8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m.
Now, mind you, this is for early voting only, okay? Now, on the day of the election, which is November 4th, the polls will be open from what time to what time?
At 6 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m.
And they will go to their precinct in order to vote. And, of course, we're doing this for the people that haven't voted yet, they're voting for the first time. Most of you guys already know this, but in case you didn't.
As always, bring your photo ID, early voting and election day. However, if you don't have your photo ID, we have an affidavit that takes seconds to fill out. So we've been doing photo ID for pretty much ever in Louisiana, for a very long time, let's put it that way. So
if they can't find their voter registration card,
they actually need a photo ID to come in. I mean, the voter card is just an information card. You need a photo ID.
So don't panic if you don't have the white card that they issue to you. If you have your ID, you're good to go. Okay?
Yes, that is
you
correct.
You're good to go. Don't let
as long as
anybody
your
tell
ID
you.
has your name, your signature, and
A valid ID.
Right, a valid ID.
But if it's, if you don't have the white voter registration card, you can use a valid ID and or driver's license.
Yeah, your voter registration card will not serve as an ID because it doesn't have your photo on it.
Gotcha.
It's just information to tell you
where your
to go
precinct
vote and what
is and your
district
you're in. Right. But you don't need that
No,
when you
we
get
can
to
do
the
the
polls. You need
affidavit.
your ID, okay?
And Gina, we always say that be an informed voter, but go vote. If you don't go vote, for whatever reason, maybe you feel like you're intimidated, there's too much on the ballot. When you don't go vote, you let someone else make decisions for you on those people, those candidates that will be representing us for the next several years, or you letting somebody else make decisions on the constitutional amendments. You need to have your voice heard. You need to go vote.
That's right. That's right. So please make sure you do so. Any questions, once again, you could call Angie Quienalty at the Calcasieu Registrar of Voters office,
Yes.
or whatever parish you're in or whatever state you're in.
Right.
Because this is a national election, and just wherever you are, please make sure you get out and vote. And Angie, once again, your office for the Calcasieu Registrar of Voters is
It's located. The phone number is 337-721-4000.
And again, she's located in the courthouse on Ryan Street, second floor, in room 7.
Correct.
Did we cover everything?
I think we've covered everything. It's just it will be busy during early voting, so the phones may take us a little longer to answer during that time because obviously the staff is going to be split into 3 different locations. So we just ask that you be patient. But if you want to call us, we'll be glad to try to help you in whatever way we can.
And there will be some lines, okay? Don't get out of line. Stay in line and make sure you vote. Especially for early voting, because a lot of people are going to get out and early voting because it's at one location in each area. There is going to be a line, but it's going to move quickly, and they're going to, do everything they can to,
And if you'll do what we suggested, get you a sample ballot, mark it before you leave.
That's it.
You're in and out of the booth. I mean, you can get in and out of there in 3 minutes, even with the ballot as large as it is. If you have everything marked that you want, and we'll process you as quickly as we possibly can.
Trust me, I'm going to do the same thing. And you don't necessarily need a ballot. You could get a computer paper or whatever and look at the information either at par.org, govote.com, sos.la.gov.com. All of those areas, including the newspaper, will have a ballot.
Or the one that Mr. Franklin mailed out.
Or the one that Mr. A.B. Franklin mailed out. But again, the best way to go, I think, would be go to govote.com or the sos.la.gov.com, because you can put in your name, your phone number, or put in your, your phone number, your name and your zip code, or your name and your date of birth, and it'll pull out your exact ballot. Print it out, bookmark it, or make a cheat sheet on computer paper. Write the answers down. That way you go in there and you're voting correctly and educatedly, and also
that gives and if you do that, if everyone will do that, then it'll move much faster. That is according to the address as you are registered. Now, if you had moved and didn't notify us before October 6th, it's going to be on the address that you were registered as of that date. So we have a few people that have moved and didn't get that transfer in a timely manner to us. So they're still eligible to vote if they were registered in Calcasieu, but they're going to be voting at the precinct or on the information
at the previous precinct
address.
that you had, in other words. So if you recently moved, you're still registered to vote, but you're not going to be able to vote at your new location, wherever your neighborhood or new house is. You'll have to vote at your previous precinct if you didn't do the paperwork and let them know that you have moved. But make sure that you do so after this to make sure that you can. It's easier for you to go to a precinct that's closer to you. Basically.
And basically, we did have some registrations that did not get in time for the October 6th. So if you registered after 11:59 on October 6th, you're just not going to be able to vote in October. So we do have a few that are in that category.
In November.
Yes. Vote. They'll be voting in December. They can't vote
you can
in
vote in December, but not
if your application came in after 11:59 on October 6th, you will not be able to vote November 4th, but you will be able to vote in December.
Okay? So please get out and vote. Exercise your right to vote. Early voting, that's the way to go.